Hello, it's me, tired me. I'm in France. Look, you can tell because there's nobody. This is my kind of place. Honestly, this is like, oh, this is the D145. I don't know how busy that is, but well, if that was the UK, it'd be. Anyway, so the C6 has made it. As you can see, it's the last day of the break. It was only a 3-night break, but it has made it. We have not lost coolant. It has all worked. It has performed well. It has performed its duties well. It's the coolant itself has been ruined because even with all the flushing I did, and you know, there's people in the comments who say we should have run it through water first. I did. I don't film oh, it's a car coming. I don't film absolutely everything because you can't, because otherwise I'll end up with Cecily content. There's our 206. Yeah, I'll end up with hours and hours. So yeah, I've actually done more on it than it looks, but yeah, coolant wise, been very good so far. The coolant has been ruined because it has gone brown because of all the muck that was in it still. So yeah, it could just be that the waterless coolant that it runs on is brown now, not green, which is annoying because I like the fact it was green. But the yeah, the coolant itself has worked magic, absolute magic. It's been through Paris. Haven't had the heat that I had last time. Admittedly, we've had torrential rain showers, thunder and lightning. But then every time I come to France, there's thunder and lightning. So it seems to rain here. It seems to rain really heavy. I don't know why, but look at it. It looks good, doesn't it? I'm going to get back inside it because I'm getting arm ache and I'm cold. So you'll have to do with this. Oh, it's echoey. You'll have to do with this kind of quick update. My plans were to bring all the cameras. I've got like 3, but bring the cameras and have GoPro on the side, watching the wheel, tracking cobbled streets in Paris, and going off and doing our proper road test. What's it like to drive a C6 in France as opposed to in the UK? Because in the UK, the suspension can be a little like that, and in France it isn't. And I can only assume it's the roads, because the roads are just better. There are some rough roads here, but there are majority of, like this road here is just a normal road. If this was the UK, it would be a patchwork quilt. It would be awful. Whereas the tarmac they use here is like a real fine, smooth. I don't know what the difference is, but it's like a really fine granules in the tarmac. So yes, I was going to do all that. Have the, you know, get some nice pictures of it and make a nice video, take what I learnt from the last video, which was just my phone and then me having to look back on it. Because to be fair, it was a family holiday. It wasn't actually I wasn't going over there to film stuff like I haven't to this time. But I'm definitely not going to this time because I left my camera at home. So that's in my living room. The whole bag, everything. So that was the first mistake. Realised that on the A3. Then I realised I'd left my own backpack behind. That was the second mistake. Noticed that on the M20, so that was good. So we've had a good time. Yeah, it's been fraught. As far as the car goes, which is the only reason you're watching, it's done well. It's the coolant issues and everything have so far, touch wood, and there is real wood in there. The coolant issues and things have not been a problem at all. It doesn't appear to have leaked. The only issue I've had is I think I've got a boost leak somewhere. And I've been playing around, obviously, with some of those pipes and things. It's just very whooshy. Not necessarily loose. I mean, it's lost a bit of power. That plenum, the throttle butterfly, where the intake sort of connector goes on it, it's just got an O-ring and then a clip. It's really like quite basic, and it's quite loose, and I think it was leaking there. So I went and managed to find some really nice. Have I got it in here? I have. Some really nice tape. I mean, this is like self-amalgamating tape, but it's high quality stuff. This is better than the stuff I've got at work. And I went round, I took the O-ring out, took it all apart, took the O-ring out, wrapped a little bit of tape round the body, put the O-ring back on just to pack it out a little bit, and then had to use some fairy liquid to push it back on. It was that tight, and it's better. But it's just very whooshy. All like that. 2 turbos whooshing away. So I don't know, you know. It seems to go okay. But I can't, it was whooshy before, I can't remember. Yeah, maybe it's no different. I don't know. But yeah, other than that, we've done, let's have a look. Economy check. 759.9 kilometers, and that's not since home, that's since I put fuel in. So I would think, in fact no, that's actually about 5 kilometers shy of where we put fuel in. So in total must have, I think that we've done on the trip about 780, but that is, yeah, so it's about 765 so far. 2 bars left, fuel light just came on. It gave me, because I put it all in the kilometres now, it's given me an economy check. Or I can do an economy check. We are averaging 8 litres per 100 kilometres. An average speed of 69 kilometres an hour. So the whole journey. So that includes Paris. It includes being stuck in traffic. It includes being on the Eurotunnel. It includes being on the motorway in England. It includes being on the autoroute in France. So yeah, on the whole, pretty good. I've been to the shops, bought a lot of magazines that I can't read, so I have to use a translator app. Old school with memories of home or love stuff like this. But the magazines they have, I mean, this KMH is just class. This is just like, well, where is it? Yeah. Lovely photography. They take it all seriously. And then the other one I got was a Young Timers. I mean, I've got a copy of Young Timers as well, just kind of like the newspapery copy. But I've got a copy of the mag here, which is a new edition, Horse Siri number 30. I don't know what that means. Quite a lot of money, but it is an old school version, because magazines don't do this anymore. It is an old school guide of all Young Timers, so there's like modern classics and stuff. So, and they're all in group order. So, you know, this is familials, family cars, BX, Sierra, Honda Accord, Xantia. Xantias are one to buy now, it says there. BXs on the rise. Oh, maybe it means in value. Yeah. Honda Accords are on the fall, so if you want to buy a Honda Accord 4th generation, crack on. It's just the time to do it. Actually, no, it's not. Wait until they've bottomed out. Don't take advice from me. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, so, and I've got, yeah. So, I've, yeah, had a good time. For the most part, it's been quite stressful. It hasn't really been, it's only a quick break, to be fair. The weather's not been great. But managed to have a barbecue, managed to, you know, just chill out and try and forget about some of the things going on back at in Blighty. All of us who've come have all got things going on at the moment. It's just been one of those years so far. Everyone's got worries on their shoulders. So yeah, I don't know if it's helped, but it's only a cheap weekend and it hasn't cost much. So yeah, on the whole, the C6 has been good, been very good actually. You forget how good this thing is on the country roads. Like roads like this, it's just goes some ridiculous speeds without even realising. It hasn't changed my outlook on things. I'm very sad. I've been feeling a tinge of sadness the whole time, thinking like this is a swan song for me with the car. I'm also now a little concerned. Well, Brit in an SUV, obviously. I'm also a little now. I'm now a little concerned that in the comments it gets painted like a, maybe, I don't know, am I over dramatizing it? But maybe that people are taking it that the car is a real, it's really troublesome and everything like that, and it isn't. It's not troublesome. It's, you know, any car of this age would have an engine with rubbish bolted to it like this one does, because of emissions, because it was the era when diesels went common rail and they managed to squeeze hard. Don't forget, diesel engines make less power than petrol engines. So if you've got a diesel version of a car which is quicker than a petrol version of a car, as you do with the C6, the diesel has had the nuts screwed off of it. It's had stuff packed onto it to extract more out of it. That wouldn't normally be the case. If it was just a 3-litre diesel and a 3-litre petrol side by side, the petrol would walk it. So, windy pops. So, the fact that this car has so much on it, and it's just the fact that because it's a V6, twin turbo, everything like that, flagship car, it's got everything on it. Every little device, gadget, cheat, whatever on the engine is fitted. And if this were any other car from that kind of era of car with, you know, a diesel with all the stuff, I've no doubt it would be the same. I think this engine is, this particular engine, the 2.7, and I would say, people say the 3-litre, not. I don't see how. It's largely the same engine. You know, suffer really these issues with being difficult to work on and having disposable parts all over them. And yeah, it does certainly seem to be the case. It is very Ford-like, the engine. I mean, I think it's predominantly a Ford engine, and it feels it, because the only cars I've ever worked on where the plastic just crumbles up is either old Volkswagens, like from the 80s and 90s, or Fords from the noughties. They just have plastic on that just breaks up. So I'm concerned in the comments that the car's getting a slightly bad rep. Everyone's going, oh, it's a beautiful car and everything, but yeah, they're trouble. It hasn't been trouble. It's not being trouble. It's just that when you have to do things on it, when it has to be fixed, it turns into an ordeal, rather than you just fix it and carry on. There's always something else. So a couple of people have nailed it. You know, one problem turns into 2 problems, turns into 3 problems. It's like an ongoing thing. When cars get to this age, people are saying, "Oh, it's been, you know, oh, but it's a complex car and it's been not looked after." Okay, fair enough. There were some elements of the car in its previous, you know, custodians that could have been looked after better. But I've no doubt that people have looked after the car as best they can, or as the best they could afford. You know, don't forget the person I got this car off. He basically sold the car because he couldn't afford to keep ploughing money into it, because, you know, just normal repairs are hellishly expensive. Well, not always, but they can be. And he had a string of garages, with the car going to a string of garages, giving them a load of money and then not fixing it. There's a number of Citroën specialists I've been to in the UK. I've got receipts, you know, for work done. I mean, the suspension, it wasn't fixed. So I fixed it with a £9 bracket, but they didn't. But they charged. So he's obviously got to a point where he said, right, I can't keep doing it. And he's then sold the car cheap to me to preserve the car. He's put the car's needs before his own, and that's noble. That is commendable. So I don't want it sort of put in the comments that, you know, it's been mistreated and things. Hasn't been mistreated. Mistreated is just drive it into the floor. Okay, it was a bit beat up, and a bit, you know, the wheels were just absolutely destroyed. And yeah, you know, there were some bits, we could all look after things better, can't we? But I think for the most part, this is not a mistreated car. You know, if it had stop leak in it, okay, yeah, that's not a good thing. But if you're out in the middle of France and you spring a leak, you're going to try anything, aren't you? You're going to be stressed. So it was a cheap car. It was a cheap car. And, you know, I think, let's not forget, if I wasn't working on this car myself, I would have, this wouldn't be I mean, this is now a £3,600 odd C6, all in, everything, over the past 2.5 years. and if I had been taking this to a garage, this would be a £10,000 C6 by now. So yeah, I think it works better for me. And I think the next person who has this car is going, assuming it finds a home, is going to have a car that's, okay, yeah, there are some foibles, there are some issues. All C6s will have them. Anyone who says they're perfect, I bet they are. I would bet money they're not. They are going to have some things to sort out, but a lot of the other things have been sorted. Some of the expensive things, and it's been tested, because now it's 700-800 kilometers later nearly, in the middle of France on a very quiet road at silly o'clock in the mornings. We're checking out pretty soon, so I have to go. It's here, it's made it, it's fine. We're heading to Bruges later, so it will be in Belgium, so it's got a bit of a trek now. It's going to be up the autoroutes and over to Bruges. Might be able to get some cobbled street wheel tracking footage with a phone if we hang out the window. And then yeah, then it'll be back to the Eurotunnel tonight, and then back home again, hopefully, all being well, and back to work Monday. No, tomorrow, Tuesday, back to work. So, but then I haven't got to race around working on this. I can just park this up and use the Picasso. Not that this is working now, isn't it? But so there we go. Would have been nice to get the aircon done. That's been a killer, because even though it's not hot, it's just muggy and stuffy. So yeah, there we go. So it did make it. There is a kind of a happy, well, it's halfway happy because it's made it. We're here. We've now got to make it back, and we're going a longer distance on the way back, but there haven't been any issues so far. The car has been a joy, as it always is when you drive it in France. It's just the second time I've done it, but yeah, it just glides, it just mixes it with everything. It just makes you feel like you know what you're doing. You know, you don't feel like a sort of, sorry, I'm sorry, I'm a tourist, I don't know what I'm doing. This car, driving this thing over here, you just feel like, you're one of them. Get out of the way. So yeah, I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna pack, and I shall, if I don't pick any footage up for the rest of the holiday, thank you all for watching the kind of the ongoing series. The numbers, I say the numbers, I'm not a numbers guy so much, but I've been looking at, when I've been in the cabin, I've been just looking at things on my phone, because I couldn't read the magazines because I can't read French. And the numbers are low on the C6 series here, so I think we've got a steady series of people who are just like watching each one and watching it through. So thanks for watching. Yeah, it really was a case of I was doing the work anyway. I just filmed it. It wasn't like I've set out to make something. I was doing it anyway. It was just I filmed it along the way. So there's a very slow van coming around the corner here. Why is he going so slow? Oh, I've seen two C6s. No DSs, no SMs, no BXs, a couple of Xantias, C5s, they're everywhere. Mark 1 C5s, they're everywhere. Quite a few Berlingos from doing Citroën spotting. Picassos, there's tons over here. Old Zara Picassos. Yeah, seen two C6s. Or is it three? One of them parked up. No, it might be three. Yeah, there was one parked up yesterday and two on the road. So yeah, three. So that's good going. So yeah. Right. Yeah, no, that's everything. Bye.